Hello, citizens of the internet, and welcome to the Dad's Guide to Minecraft building tutorial. Well, today we're going to be talking about all things villager breeding. That's right, we're going to take these little weird dudes behind us here and we're going to create a village breeder. And since I get a lot of questions, we're going to do it in Bedrock as well as in Java. So, if building a villager breeder sounds like a plan, then let's get started. Okay, so what I've done is I've broken this down into 3 steps. Step 1 is going to be a simple villager breeder, and this is just going to be, some walled off area where we have villagers breeding. And you may want this because you have villagers that have been underpopulated in a village near your house. Maybe they've been attacked by zombies, or you found an abandoned village and you want to repopulate it, or you want to build your own little village somewhere else. So you bring 2 villagers over and you want them to start breeding. So we'll cover that. But then if you want an infinite villager breeder, we need to talk about removing villagers on a regular basis and how to get the villagers to continually breed even though there's only like a couple beds. And that's a little interesting problem, but easily solved. And then finally, how to then hold those villagers and get them out of their little vehicles for when we get them to the place that they're going to go. So let's go step by step and cover this. So step 1, very simple. We are just going to show how to breed a couple villagers in a safe way. So you can make these areas as big as you want. They don't have to be crazy large. They just need to be large enough that you have a space for your villagers to exist in, and the beds far enough from the gate posts like this that you don't get the villagers jumping over the fences. So we're going to go ahead and just make this, a little bit large here. Made it a little bit too large on that side. Okay, now let's go ahead and put our 2 beds in first. So see, there's a block here and a block here. If you put this right against here, the villagers, the first thing they'll do is see you suckers, and they will jump out and they'll take off. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 of the red beds down like that. And this indicates the beds for the adults. Now in Bedrock, what will happen is they'll actually claim the beds, and these will be the adult villager beds forever, which is great. In Java, they will switch up beds like crazy, so it's a little bit different. And what we want to do too is because, villagers attract zombies and zombie variants like drowns, we want to make sure that we have this whole area lit up here to kind of protect them from anything that might spawn in the middle of this and eat their faces off, and we don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and put our 2 villagers in here like that. And we'll go ahead and just feed these guys really quick. So what I like to do is we'll just throw carrots down here like this, like there. And they'll eat them, and they'll trade, and they'll start throwing them back and forth and give them a little space and some privacy here. And when they have enough in their inventory, they'll start breeding. Now, if you notice what's happened here is there's not another bed down. So they will not actually start breeding. They may be interested, and you'll see hearts start to appear, and then those little angry things popping up, and they'll say, hey, wait a minute, there's something missing from here, and they will not breed until we put another bed down. Watch, we'll go ahead and check this out here. So they're willing, they've had their food, their bellies are full, and but there's something missing. We don't have enough beds for our little baby villager. So we're going to go ahead here, and we're going to pop down a 3rd bed. Let's see if we can push this guy over a little bit. So we can put it right next to his parents right there. We'll come back up here. And there you go. Baby villager. And if we continue to feed these guys and put more beds down, they will continue to breed until every single bed is filled. So that is a way that if you just want to have villagers repopulate a village, they just need beds and food. It's very simple. Now let's go ahead and look at a better scenario for an infinite villager breeder. Okay, now that we have the basics down, let's go ahead and take a look at what we'll need to build a infinite villager breeder. So first we're going to need 48 dirt, 34 stairs. It can be any type of wood or other material for these. 48 oak slabs, 34 fences, 36 oak logs, 70 oak planks, 12 trap doors, a composter, possibly 2 if you want 2 farmer villagers, 2 glass blocks, water, 10 torches, 48 carrots. And I chose carrots because they are a clean, renewable farming resource. So there's not extra things like seeds or poison potatoes that can get into the villagers' inventory. So they'll only have carrots in their inventory and nothing else. A hoe, 2 villagers, and 3 beds. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up a total of 3. So let's get into a nice central location here. How about like right here? And we're going to come up 3. 1, 2, 3, like that. And we can go ahead and take these blocks out. This is going to be the center of our farm, and we'll take this block out as well. So just for starts, let's go ahead and come around just like this on each side. And we'll take out that center block again. And we're going to replace the bottom of this with one of our slabs, like that. And this will be the center of our farm. Then from the center, we're going to come out a total of 3 in each direction. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And let's go ahead and connect all of these in. Now we should have a build that looks like this. So it's 7 by 7 with a spot in the middle that is where the water is going to go. Now on the corners, what we're going to do is we're going to drop in 4 oak logs coming up like this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll do this on each corner. And what I like to do on the sides that are not going to be where the villager beds are is even with the water source here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in also 4 oak logs like this. It just gives the structure kind of a nice sturdy look and symmetry that is nice to look at. Now let's switch to our stairs, and we're going to fill in all of these gaps around with stairs like this. You should have a structure that looks like this now. Now switching to our oak planks, we're going to go ahead and build the sleeping area over here, and also the area where the villagers, the baby villagers, will drop into. So underneath this area right here of dirt, we're going to go ahead and put our oak planks down like this, and then we're going to come over right here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. So we'll have an area that's too wide, and then we're going to fill this in right here like that. And then this one right here too, like that. So we should have a space that is 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to come over 3 more this direction, like that. So we have a total of 4. And then we're going to put another set of 4 oak logs down, coming up like that. 1 in the center, like that. And then 1 on the corner like this. So you should have a gap of 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now let's go ahead and switch back to our stairs, and we're going to do the same thing, upside down stairs, coming across and filling in this area right here, so it looks like the rest of the build. So now our structure should look like this. Now let's go ahead and switch to our fences, and we'll just put fencing in between each one of these oak logs here. And on top of each log, we're going to put an oak plank. This will prevent our villagers from being able to jump out, and also give us a platform to put torches on top of, so we can light up this area quite well, like that. Now let's switch to our trap doors. And we're going to put trapdoors on either side open like this of this little gap here. We'll do it around this side as well. In this area that is opposite the log on this side, we're going to get our water bucket and we're going to put water down here like that, so it flows in this direction towards this opening like that. This will end up pushing the baby villagers down into this corner where we want them to go. Now that we have that set up, let's go ahead and switch to our slabs. And we're going to come over on this side right here where the water is pushing out. And we're going to put an oak slab there. So it's just one block above. High enough for the baby villagers to walk through, but low enough that the adult villagers cannot cross this area. And we're just going to cover up this gap, this too wide gap like this. And leave a space right here that the adult villagers can walk back to their beds at. Now we can come up with the water source, and being very careful, we're going to put it against the side of one of these blocks, not on top of that slab. That way the slab stops the water from going down below this, but this is going to hydrate the farmland around here. And then above this, we're going to go ahead and put our composter. And you may need to have a temporary block on the side here that you can put a composter against, but you want it on top of the water source like that. And then we need one more oak slab on top of the composter here, so villagers don't jump on top of it and then crush the farmland around here. Now let's go ahead and switch to our other materials that we'll need. So let's go ahead and grab the glass, the hoe, the carrots, and we'll grab the beds and our villager eggs. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll hoe this area here, turning it into farmland that is hydrated because we have a nice water source. Switching to our carrots, we'll go ahead and put those down. And then we'll come over and put our beds in. So for this, we want to make sure, like we did on the other side, we don't want to put the beds right against here or back here. So we'll make a space here, put a bed down. Make a space here, put a bed down. And then finally, our last bed, make a space, put the bed down. Now let's go to the outside, and we'll go ahead and put glass blocks down right here against these two logs like that, so we can see in when the villagers drop down into this area. And this is where we'll use to collect the villagers once we get the whole farm working. When I was doing some experiments earlier, I noticed that there was a small chance that the villagers would start to breed next to the fences, and that would cause the baby villager to be born on the outside of the fence, and that basically broke the farm. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our slabs, and in between each one of these logs and on top of each one of these fence posts, we're going to go ahead and put slabs down. Now, if you use walls, I'm not sure that walls will have this problem. But if you use fences, you'll want to have something on top of the fence, like a post that pushes the villagers far enough away from the side of the post that there isn't a chance for the babies to be born on the outside of each one of these fences. And finally, before we go ahead and drop the villagers in, let's go ahead and light this up. So we'll put a torch on top of each one of these planks like this. And if you want to have the center lit up as well, you can actually drop a full plank here or another slab, and then we can go ahead and put a torch on top like that as well. Now let's go ahead and put our villagers in, and we should get one farmer villager and then just a normal villager. If you want to have two farmer villagers working the crops, you can go ahead and substitute one of these blocks right here or one of the fences with a composter, and that'll make two farmers, but we're just going to do one for this demonstration. So put one there and one there. And one of these villagers should pick up the profession. There we go. Okay, before we actually go into the next step of removing villagers from the infinite villager breeder, let's talk a little bit about how the mechanics work. So we have a farmer villager, and he will continue to, pick the crops and pass the food over to his little friend here, and he'll keep some in his inventory as well for his own food. And when they hit enough food, which for carrots, it's 12 in each inventory slot, so he needs 12 and he needs 12, and that's enough for them to be in the mood to have a child. And we have a bed over here that is open, so that meets all the requirements. The villagers then will have a baby, and that baby will take the shortest path it can as it's walking around. Now, the way that mobs work is they view any of these trapdoors, even when they're open like this, as a valid path to walk across. So these guys right here are too tall. This is not a valid path, so they'll walk around. But for a baby villager, this is the right height, so they'll cut right through here. And we have two things that work in our advantage. One, baby villagers will want to jump on beds, so they'll be kind of attracted to these. So if it's born over here, they'll cut across over this way. Also, working in our favor is as these guys start farming in the morning, they'll want to go over and explore around. They'll cut across here, shortest path, and fall into this area. If they're born towards nightfall, what will happen is they will go to their bed to go to sleep and fall into this little ravine area that we have set aside. Now down here, we're going to build a system to take the villagers away, because as long as they are close enough to these beds, they will register as a part of this little mini village. So we need to take them about 100 blocks away. There's a lot out there about how far you have to take a villager away. It's somewhere between 64 and 100. Just to be safe, I take them about 100 away. So we are going to do that for this little demonstration as well. But we have a couple choices to make. In my episode where I build an ethical villager breeder in my Let's Play world, the way that I designed my villager breeder is to be a standard village for these villagers just to, habitate in and enjoy their little villager lives. And I wanted to make it easy for me to get them out of that village one at a time. I don't need to have a breeding hall for a single player world, and I just don't need to have that many villagers. So I want to go in and grab a villager occasionally. So I built a walled city that has gates, 2 gates side by side that I can get a boat through. That way I can put a boat down near a villager. The villager goes in the boat. I hop in the boat. I take the boat through the gates, and we go down the river more than 100 blocks away. And voila, that opens up a bed, and they continue to breed. Another way that we can look at moving villagers is a water stream. So here's an example of one that is basically just gravity based. It goes every 7 blocks. We drop down 1 block. So you can actually have a villager that comes down here and gets swept along this canal as we move down every 7 until we get 100 blocks away. Another thing you can do is add a little step area like this. If you don't have your villager breeder up high enough to move 100 blocks away, you can have signs. So you place a sign and you stop it before the water stream ends at 8 blocks. So water flows at 8 blocks. So you stop it at 7. And then on the 6th block, you put another sign up here. And when you put a source water block up above this sign, the water can't flow backwards, but it does flow over like this, and it goes another 8 blocks. And we just repeat that over and over again. The villagers will actually come down through here, and when they hit this water, the baby villagers will jump and get caught in here and get pushed aside. If they're larger villagers, adult villagers, they'll just automatically hit this in their head and be pushed down. So water channels are great if you don't have the resources to build a rail system or the iron yet to build minecarts. But the most efficient way by far, I think, is the minecart. Now let's go ahead and move on to steps 2 and steps 3, because we have to do these at the same time. You don't want your villagers to go off of cliffs and things like that. You want them to drop into a nice little holding cell. So we're going to go ahead and build how do you remove a villager and where do we drop it off in its little holding area, all at the same time. Okay, for the first step of removing a villager, we're going to go ahead and grab rails, powered rails, either are blocks of redstone or our redstone levers or redstone torches, something you can use to power the powered rails. We need a detector rail, a dispenser, a hopper, a chest, a redstone torch, and then a bunch of building blocks and glass blocks. I just pick light blue concrete because I think it shows up better on the videos, and a bunch of mine carts. So let's go ahead and grab all of these really quick. Okay, and then let's go over and grab everything that we'll need out of our holding area box as well, because we'll need this space. So we'll need 2 chests, a block of sand, cactus. I grabbed 3 so we can finish the build, but you can just start with 1 if you need to. A bucket of water, some more building materials. I'm going to leave that here. Some more glass. I'll leave that here since we have that in our inventory. And more rails. We'll also need a redstone comparator, a redstone repeater, some more torches, and a hopper minecart. And these 3 right here are going to be part of a little extra bonus build that I'm going to do that I'll show you how to maximize the farm that we have set up here. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this area here just because we won't need it. And coming over to this structure where we have the glass, we're going to go ahead and clear off 2 of these blocks here. And we'll use our structure blocks that we have. This is just visual. You don't need to do this. I just like to do it because it looks nice. And then we're going to come up by 1 block here, 2 blocks here, and then 3 blocks right here, like that. Then coming over to this back side where the window is, we're going to go ahead and put a block on the second one sticking out here and on the 3rd block right here. So the structure looks like this. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get our redstone torch, place it against this block right here, and then our dispenser, and we're going to put it facing into this block right here. Now what's going to happen is we're going to put our detector rail at the very top like that, and when our mine carts go over with our villager, the detector rail will detect the mine cart. This will pulse, it'll send out what's in the dispenser, which will be more mine carts. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to our powered rails. And we'll put a powered rail down here like that. And we'll put a powered rail up here at the top like that. And the rest we're going to fill in with regular rails. So we'll do 1 and 2 like that. Now we need to make sure that these rails are powered. So this is where if you want to, you can put redstone blocks down instead at the bottom, or you can do levers. I like to use levers on this just so we can turn it on and off. And then I use the power or the blocks for the actual transportation line, so I don't have to worry about toggling them on and off. I just have the blocks, but you know, you can do whatever you like on this one. So there we have the basic of this villager removal system. And I want to give a shout out to Frillioth, a brilliant YouTuber who really simplifies a lot of these designs. He did this for a village breeder that was a couple generations back. It doesn't work currently with the Village and Pillage update. So we are just modifying it slightly, but this is his design and it's great. Go check out his video. I'll have the link in the description below. But we can go ahead and just to show how this works, we'll go ahead and put a minecart on here. And what will happen is put a minecart on, it has enough power to go back and forth. Now, a villager will be pushed into this corner. Because of Minecrafty glitchy stuff, it'll get transported through this corner into the minecart when it's down like that. And when it has enough weight in the minecart, it'll propel it over top of this. But as it is right now, it doesn't have enough weight. So it just does this back and forth endlessly like this until it has a passenger. But we're going to take this off just in case a villager is born. And we don't want to have that shoot up here and we have a little villager down here. So coming back to the dispenser, we can put a hopper in the back of it facing in like that, and then a chest on top like that, and we can put our minecarts in here like this, and they'll be fed down and below, and we can go ahead and duplicate it like this. Okay, now that we have that all set up, let's go ahead and build our little transportation line. And what we're going to do is off this bottom one right here, we're just going to raise up the platform by 1. And we're going to count out as we go back here. I'm not going to do it on screen, but you want to count out essentially 100 blocks. You know, you're off of the bed by about 5 or 6 blocks right here. So we'll go another like 94 blocks this direction, and that'll be plenty to start our structure. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have our rail structure done, let's go ahead and drop the rails down. So at this beginning part here, you want to put 2 of the powered rails. This will catch the cart as it comes over this edge and propel it forward. And the reason why you do this and not a slope is occasionally you'll have something on this line, unless it's completely covered, like you'll have a chicken or something will get on here. And as the carts come over, they hit that, they bounce back, they go over the detector rail, and this little ping pong effect happens, and you end up getting like all your mine carts out on this rail going back and forth, and it breaks the farm. So this actually stops that from happening. So now we'll go ahead and drop the rails down, and I'll be back. Okay, now at the end of our rail line, we're going to build our little holding cell for our villagers. And for this, we're just going to go up a couple like this, just so we don't have to deal with the water below. And so just like 1, 2, and this will be the bottom of the structure here. So we come out by 1 like that, and this is where our water source is going to be. Then we're going to go ahead and put a chest and a hopper right here. So just, you know, putting a block down so you have something to sit against. And this will be so we can catch the drops of the mine carts as they come down through here. So we'll put our hopper going down in like that. And then we'll put another block on the side of the chest facing this direction like that. Now right here, we're going to put our block of sand, and we're going to put our cactus up like that. So let's go all 3. It can be 1. It doesn't really matter at all. And now we just need to build the structure around here. So we're going to come out 1 on either side like this, and then we're going to come up and frame in this little opening here. So when our minecart comes in, it comes down into the water right here, and the water pushes it into the cactus. It breaks the minecart and pushes the villager around. It's a pretty simple design, and this works. This will work in Bedrock as well. The only difference is the hoppers don't really catch the drops like they do in Java, so you don't actually need to have this gap here. You can actually shoot the minecart right into the cactus, and it'll drop into here. And I'll show that when I cut over to the Bedrock version. So we're going to go ahead and put these walls up like that as well on either side right here. And from here on, the design is really up to you. If you want to expand this out a whole bunch, if you want to have this going into another village, you can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and close in the rest of this area right here, put a glass roof on top of it, and I'll cut back when it's done. Now finishing off the interior, let's go ahead and add some torches in here, just so we don't get spawns occurring inside this area here. And we'll go ahead and put our water bucket down like that. And you see how it pushes around the cactus, and it'll push the villagers down into this area right here. And we'll go ahead and close off the roof with glass blocks. And this will prevent spawns from happening above or on top of this design. And it'll also protect the villagers from lightning strikes, which will turn them into witches. And we don't want that to happen because it ruins your farm as well. And then coming back here, we'll go ahead and put our rails powered just coming up into here. So it kind of shoots the cart forward, and it'll drop into this, and then I'll hit this and break it. So let's go ahead and activate this whole farm and see how it works. Okay, as you can see down here, we already have a little villager waiting in our cell down here, and these guys up here will not breed again until this villager is gone. So they have enough in their inventory to breed, but all the beds are full. So let's go ahead and put one of the mine carts down onto here real quick, and I'll just grab it like that. Okay, and this will pick up this villager, and we'll follow him down the whole way and see what happens. See? Jumps over, he gets propelled forward on his ride to his new home. He'll come up here, hits the cactus, gets pushed aside, takes no damage whatsoever. And that's what I was going for with this design. Sometimes when you drop them against the cactus, they'll take not only fall damage if it's high enough, but they'll also take damage from the cactus. And this way right here, the water being pushed around keeps them from being able to touch the cactus for whatever reason. So they take 0 damage when they do this. And he'll grow up right here. And now he's far enough away from his farm that these guys will start breeding again. Now the final optimization you can do to this whole design is to put a collection device below here, below the farm, to collect all the extra carrots being thrown between the two villagers, because there's an excess. And as they keep on growing, they'll fill up all their inventory slots and continue to farm and continue to throw carrots at each other. And they'll just sit on the ground. So we can collect those and have a carrot farm as well. Now this unfortunately only works in Java well. You can do the same thing in Bedrock, but it only gets 1 or 2 carrots at a time. It doesn't get the mass amount that we get here in Java, just because of the way the mechanics work with the villagers tossing things back and forth. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill this all in with rails and a couple of powered rails, and I'll make a collection device. So I'll go ahead and do the rails off screen, and then I'll show the collection device here. Okay, that's the rail system there. It basically just winds back and forth with a powered rail on every single line to keep it propelled, and then a stopper to stop it with a powered rail. So when the hopper minecart hits that, it bounces right back and comes back down the same line. So let's go ahead and finish this off right here. So what we're gonna do is we will have a chest right here with hoppers going into it. So let's go ahead and put our double chest down like that. And we'll go ahead and put our hopper going into it right here like this. And this makes it so the minecart will come over top of here and stop and drop things in here. Now you could leave it like this, but it won't unload if it has a lot of items inside the minecart. So you want a device to basically see, hey, does this have a lot of items in it? If so, stop and unload. So we're gonna do a stop and unload kind of situation. Put our powered rail on top of here, and then looking into the hopper right here, we're going to do a comparator. So it needs to be facing with the 2 little jibby jabbies facing in like that. And we are going to have a block like that. And coming out the back here, we are going to do a redstone torch, which is not in my inventory right now. There we go. Okay. That. And we have a block above this one like that, and we're going to do a block above this as well. So we just put temporary block there, knock that out, and the redstone will power the repeater that is right here like that, and that powers this rail. So what happens is when the hopper minecart has something in it and it detects through the comparator that there's something on that rail, it shuts this whole circuit off, unloads it. Once it detects the minecart is empty, it'll go ahead and send it off again. So let's go ahead and put our hopper minecart down, and we'll see if we start getting some drops in here. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and check out to see if any carrots have been picked up by our little auto farm here. And yeah, we got 20 carrots. That is not bad. And as these guys continue to do their thing and pass carrots back and forth, our little minecart will pick up anything that is dropped on the ground while they're doing that. So we'll be able to get, you know, a couple stacks here and there of carrots. We can use them for golden carrots. We can use them for feeding pigs. We can use them for our own food. So it's all good. And here we are over in the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. As you can see, it's a very similar design to the one in Java. You can actually build it identical to the one in Java, and it works just fine. The differences that I can do in Bedrock, which I wanted to point out really quick, is as you can see behind me, there's only 2 beds on this side. That's because villagers will claim beds in Bedrock. So watch the little villager there. You see like those green sparkles that were around his head? That means that he has claimed the bed that's behind us there. We didn't see the bed in frame at the time, but there would have been green sparkles on top of that bed. So the design difference is I can put those 2 other beds for our villagers out here, and one far back behind a trench that has the trap doors on it. So the baby will actually cross the trap doors and fall in, trying to get to its bed thinking it can. And actually, we'll probably see it go in right here if we watch. As he's jumping up there, jumping down, walks across, falls in here, and he'll go right down this little trap here. And let's go ahead and switch over so we can see him go over. Yep, there we go. And let's follow him into our little area here. And he's going to hit a pig. Nope. Okay, good. He dodged the pig. Yay. And what'll happen is he'll come up, and this is slightly different too because we don't need the water stream here. He hits the cactus, the minecart breaks, it drops the minecart down into the hoppers that are below those carpets. You can do it exactly how I have it in Java with the water stream. Like I said, it can be identical to that and it works. The only difference is that the water streams in Bedrock will push the minecarts around. So having hoppers a little bit further out will collect it. This is just a modification. You don't need the water streams, and they don't take damage in Bedrock when they hit the cactus like they do in Java. So overall, it's the same design, just some slight modifications because certain mechanics are easier in Bedrock than they are in Java. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you've enjoyed seeing this infinite villager breeder with its automatic villager removal system and a little farm pickup there, so we have also a carrot farm going on, please consider leaving a like, clicking that subscribe button, and smashing that notification bell so you don't miss an upcoming episode. Until next time, bye for now.